Hello, it's Bethany, and today I'm going to talk about something I haven't talked about before, but like a lot of my ideas for these videos, I just think of an idea and I want to do it right away. So I don't know if this will be like a very popular idea, but I just thought it would be interesting way to share how I have a system in place for my life, and this is how I run my life so that I don't get worried for the week or anything. So I'm just going to share a little bit. So, what are Sunday scaries? They're like the when you dread the last day off before start of a new week. Now it can cause physical side effects, so this is not medical advice. It's just it's kind of a thing right now. The Sunday scaries, like um, the Sunday before a long work week. Um, and things like that. You don't feel like you had enough time off. And I think it's just because you don't have systems in place. So let me just introduce myself. I'm Bethany. I'm a lower elementary Montessori teacher. So I teach during the week, all week. It's lower elementary. So I teach grades 1, 2, and 3 from the same as always, 7:45 to 3:45. And then I also am a business owner. As you're watching this, it's Parts of the Language LLC, and I have just recently started tutoring Spanish again. I tutored Spanish for a couple of years before this because my bachelor's degree is in Spanish, and I love Spanish. And then I took a little, like almost a 2 year hiatus, really, or a little bit more than 2 years. But someone reached out for Spanish tutoring, and I was like, yeah. And usually I do like half-hour sessions, but this person wanted like a whole hour, and I was like, oh no, is it just going to drag on? But it went super fast through because I just love talking and doing examples and practicing Spanish with other people, that it's just so much fun. And um, the the students get something out of it, and so do I. Like, it's just so much fun, and that will come back to a thing here in a second. And then I'm a business owner, so um through the business, it's Parts of the Language LLC. I sell my Montessori stuff and my Spanish things. So here are just a few tips. You have to find your passion. Like, I was a Montessori child, so I went to a Montessori school my whole life, well, up until fifth grade. And then I went to like public middle school and public high school. Then I went to college to be a Spanish major. And then after that, my dad is also a Montessori teacher. So like I was involved with it my whole life. Um, so I was like, well, I kind of want to just try that. And I've been sticking with it ever since I got my AMS certification in lower elementary. And that's one of my passions. But also, like I said about the tutoring of Spanish, I wanted a way to use my Spanish. That's why I started my business a while ago. I guess it's almost been 5 years ago. Oh my goodness, that I started my business, and that was a few years into teaching. So um, I didn't just start it right away, but I wanted a way to use my Spanish because it's one of my passions, and I think I might start making YouTube videos about Spanish grammar because I love talking about it, and it's just something that motivates me. It's kind of like a hobby, but it's also for my business. But for my teacher tip, and you might be saying, like, you're a full-time teacher that teaches 3 grades. How do you have time to do everything you want to do? As you'll see later, like, um, I get to do things during my weekend because I have a great system in place. Are you ready for this one? Um, and I've spent years making this. So when it's a scope and sequence, but I've also turned it into maps, as you can see in that one picture, and it's also in lists. The other picture is of the actual scope and sequence, and it's pages, pages, pages long. And then my maps are also pages, pages, pages long because I have maps and lists. It's a scope and sequence, but just in map form for um, first grade, second grade, and third grade. So it breaks it up through the grade levels. And why this is a system is because, as you know, the Montessori child comes into the classroom, and um, they get to pick what they work on. I also have the best scope, I mean, the best work plan. I love my work plan. Now everybody's going to be different, but I tried so many different work plans, and my work plan also works with my scope and sequence because my work plans are blank. I should have had a picture up here for it, but I have so many videos about my work plan that you can see. But they have like daily tasks to do, but they also have a blank math, a blank language, and a blank cultural. So instead of me saying, okay, today I'm going to teach this, okay, I'm going to teach this, okay, and like having to plan that, I basically spent years putting together my scope and sequence that I sell to others. So if you want to buy it, you may. There's a link below. Um, but why that keeps me in line is I have students ask me, okay, like I need a math. I'm like, okay, let's look at your, like what map you're on and see which one you want to pick. Almost, you could go in exact order, but sometimes they're like, well, I just did a grammar work the other day, so I think I want to do a word study work. And it's the map I use in my class, they're like all the map for math and language, they're all up there. All of the different like word study, grammar, and then oh my goodness, the other one, how I split it up. And then for like math, it's time, money, measurement, numeration, geometry, graphs, and other concepts. So it goes through and repeats, not repeats them, but in a pattern of those four in the maps. So you can really get the idea of um, what like a balanced plate in a week and not just like clocks, 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 clocks. So it helps the student also get that balanced plate of all their math and all their language. It, that's just how it is. And I love it. And that's what really, after doing all the pre work for a few years now, I'm just like, I don't have to plan. I know what I'm doing. The culturals do not have a map, and that's the one thing we do together. So I do kind of pick day to day, but some days I just walk in there and I'm like, okay, what's next on like the zoology? Okay, we'll just do that today. So I have the list in place, and that's a big thing that helps me in my teacher life to not worry about the next week because I know there'll always be something for them to do. And even though teaching 3rd grade levels in Montessori um, is quite a lot, after doing it and having a plan and everything, um, you can do it to not get behind in everything. Um, and just not have to worry about planning things week after week after week after week. So during my weekend, I will look ahead like during the previous week to say like, okay, where are kids going to be? But even if I don't do that, I still can see it that day. Okay, and now for business tips, because it is a lot, and I'm still managing my time and stuff for this. I usually do my business work on the weekend, but that's just how I choose to do it. I could do it during the week, and sometimes I do. I've been getting better at putting like showing my Montessori content on my Parts of Montessori Instagram, and you have to have a system. And so this is my little system I use. I use Teachery to host um my free hub of resources, and there's so many resources, and as of recording today there are 560, excuse me, 758, I believe that says 5 ish, I don't know if I think it says 8, I'm just looking at the tiny screen, but people in my free hub, and I've been doing that for quite a while. And so how I get people into that is I put the free thing on Teachers by Teachers. I have it on my website, and then I make YouTube videos, and a lot of people find me from these YouTube videos, which is great. So if that is you, hello. So usually I do it every week, but then today I realized I didn't do it last week, which is fine. And there are systems in place if you want to do this system wise, but I don't, because and what I mean by system wise is what I do is when people sign up for it, I see their email and I add them to my email list manually. And I use Kit for that. It's an email thing. And then I use Notion to keep track of where people are, like where people came from and found me. So what I do is I just copy my their email and put it physically in there. There's a bunch of things if you don't want to do that. I'm just like curious to see like, oh, who's actually joining. I don't know these people, but it's nice. And if they email me, I'm like, oh yeah, they joined, and then I could see that without having, anything. And so this past 2 weeks, 6 people came from my website, 5 people came from YouTube, and 7 people came from Teachers Pay Teachers, which I don't sell things on Teachers Pay Teachers. I sell things on my website, just because I just don't know about Teachers Pay Teachers and the whole sales tax thing. So, but where I sell mine, it like handles that for me. So that's really good. But I keep track of it in Notion so I can have these numbers, and I physically do that. And that's just part of my business routine. That's the first thing I do. And then I try to post a YouTube video. Usually I record it in my classroom. This week I didn't do one, and I was like, should I just take a week off? Because sometimes I do that too, because like my own CEO. I don't have to get the work done, but I am pretty motivated to get my own work done because it's my business and I like doing it. So I usually do that. And then once I have a YouTube video, I either make a blog post or I post it just to my email. Not usually a blog, but sometimes a blog. And then, although the YouTube videos now in the email have sent my email to a spam, so I can't really just post the straight YouTube link anymore to the email. So that's that. But I also host all my paid for products. So once you buy my product, you get like a little sign up thing, and um, it puts you into like a Teachery hub, and you just sign up from there. And so I have, as you could see in my Montessori maps and scope and sequence, which is a lot of stuff. I have so many videos. I'll link some below of my explaining that. Even though I explained it kind of a lot in this video, which is okay. Um, I have 66 other Montessorians that have it already, which might seem like a small number, especially for as long as I've been doing it. I've only been selling the scope and sequence for, I believe, about 2 or 3 years. Um, so if you want to join, that would be great. It's just you print it and use it in your classroom so you have more of a system. And I've gotten such lovely feedback around it. I usually don't share the feedback because, you know, I know you're supposed to like share testimonials and stuff, but I don't know. I just like keeping the comments for myself and also just kind of explaining it. But I've gotten such lovely feedback from it. Um, and so yeah, I also do some shorts on the Insta or like reels on the Instagram and post shorts throughout the week of things I'm doing. I'm trying to get it where I have like plan a few weeks ahead, but then that also almost feels inauthentic because like I post about what's currently happening in my school year, so I don't want to go too far ahead and stuff like that. Um, so that's what this one is. So just life tips in general for if you're here and you're not a teacher and you're not a business owner, and if you've made it this far into the video, maybe you have just want general life tips, is you have to have hobbies. And I'm a person, and the older I get, I realize that because I'm like my job, like I like my job. I have this, but also you have to have more hobbies and things than you think, and um, just to have like some like stress release and everything. And a big one I do for that is exercise. I exercise almost every day. I go to a group fitness class like maybe once a week, and then I have a lot of exercise stuff at my home that I love to do. Um, but also have like I said, like the systems, like the scope and sequence, like my routine for my business. You have to have systems. And also, if you don't exercise now, I would highly encourage it because it's amazing. Um, but seek your own medical advice on that. But that really helps with my mental health. Another thing that does, I like to habit stack. So while I exercise, like on my spin bike, I'll read a book so that it's more interesting. Or I like to be using the grounding mat, which you like plug into that bottom socket of your wall, and then you put your feet on it, and you can't touch electronics when you do that. So I like to read a book then too. Um, and I don't know if you haven't heard of it. It's just like this little mat thing, but it's the same thing as like putting your feet on the ground with grass. But if you live in a place that has winter, you can't do that during a lot of the months of the year. So, like, physically go outside and do that. So, that's it. Okay. And if you've made it this far, I did say this is like a little weekend in my life Um, so I'll just show you what I did. So on Friday, I did the spin bike and I read. That was fun. I also, watched TV. I also cooked, ate dinner. And then I also, for my other hobby, I've been into embroidering recently. So, I started to make a little pink tower embroidery shirt, and I'm really excited for that because I got pink tower fabric to show through underneath it. On Saturday, I went to my fiance's house and we baked brownies and ate some food. And then I also went contra dancing, 3 hours of contra dancing at night. It's a lot of fun. If you haven't tried contra dancing, look for it around your area. It's a lot of fun. That's once a month. So it just happened to be yesterday that it happened. And then Sunday, this is when I'm working on my business stuff. And sometimes I do and sometimes I don't. I'll send my email. I'm making this video today. So I don't have pictures from today because I'm recording this in the morning before I do all the things. I'm going to go see a movie with my mom, and then I'm going to go out to lunch with my mom and my fiance. So that's just my little weekend in my teacher life. And hopefully some of this was helpful. I know, if anything, the biggest takeaway is to have the system that works and everything. And I'll also exercise today and do a lot of other stuff. But I like, maybe I have too much energy. Maybe I like to do too many things. But I usually don't share too much about my life. So this is just a way to see certain things more. And thank you for watching. Please look down below for that scope and sequence, or if you want to join the free hub, or if you want, if you have I want Spanish lessons or anything, or know somebody that does that. I usually work with students that already are in a Spanish class that need more explanation because I love explaining grammar, so things like that. But we also do practice Spanish and everything. So just let me know. I hope some of these tips were helpful and you have better weekends and better Sundays. Thank you for watching.